Welcome back, everybody, to the Casa Street Fighter 5 Friday night Top 8 Showdown. I am Michael Dr. Karate, being joined by none other than Brad. Make some noise! Masters here on the desk with me tonight. Are you ready, Brad? We have a top 8 ahead of us.
I am, and what a top 8 it is. If there was a week to be making some noise, this is that week. First match of the night for top 8, Brian F versus Rob TV. Other half of winner's side top 8, Shine versus NYC Furby. Sitting down in the loser side, OG Yawn versus Destructive, and Metro M versus Flux Waves. This is definitely a short list of East Coast All-Stars. I feel like if it was Casa All-Stars, maybe we need some Diego or some Moons in here, but absolutely killers up and down the bracket today.
Listen, we had Diego. He just couldn't beat Ojian. So, I mean, we already had one grudge match of the night that, kind of went a new way. And there's plenty on the table to be had. I mean, this is already a pretty good matchup right here. New Capcom stars, Brian F versus Rob TV. And this is our first match of the top 8. Like, how can you even go up from here?
Yeah, and I think it's really kind of us to make sure the bracket works out this way so that they have something to talk about the next time they're doing a pre-show.
Yeah, shout out to Bunch, our resident TO runner. He knows how to make the magic happen. And just like that, we're already getting into it, actually. Pretty even so far, though.
Oof. The low forwards already great spacing from Rob, representing that at exactly the right spot. Oh my god, blowing up the dash straights as well.
Yeah, I like the way he's fishing for these checks already, making sure that Brian just can't get, free plus frames.
Oh my god, and the hit confirms from Rob.
Knew
TD
what he was
Wizard, this
facing
is
with
winners.
the
We have just started the top 8.
Yeah, you didn't miss much at all. We're 30 seconds into the round, and they're dead even on life with pretty big disparity in terms of meter already.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, Ryan is using a lot of his EX bar on, like, EX dash straights to get in. One thing to point out, Ryan is repping V-Trigger 2 here. Wants to be able to force that RPS in those situations. Oh my god, the super activation from Rob TV. I don't think he's dead. I think he's still alive. No, never mind. It's Karen. She's got the privilege.
Not even in V-Trigger either. So just raw damage just coming on through. And it does mean you spent everything, so you're at a disadvantage now coming into the second round. But I mean, would you rather a round win or a little extra meter? Because, it's not working for Brian.
Counterpoint, Rob started that round with nothing and ended with CA. So, clearly the meter economy is there. There's the V-Skill store there from Brian F backing off. Rob giving him a little bit of space, using this neutral jump now. That's interesting. I wonder if that is kind of an adjustment to try to play around some of this low forward pressure from Rob. With the hit confirms have been so good.
Yeah, if the neutral jump is the answer, it's the wrong one on a multiple choice question. So definitely going to need to see something different here from Brian so far. And Rob's using all of his defensive options. We've seen V shift, we've seen V reversal, we're seeing neutral jumps, we're seeing checks. Like Rob's playing out of his mind actually.
Yeah, and even the aggressive V-shift to keep stuff going. There's the crush counter from Brian, but I feel like it's not going to do a whole lot. You're still stuck in this corner. Rob is only surrendering enough space to give you room to get baited into so that he can blow you up for it. There's the V-skill store from Brian once again, but we're still seeing it's the same thing that we saw in the last round. Rob sitting on full resources and Brian sitting on VT but having to burn every bit of meter.
Oh, no, I was going to say he's not dead. But no, it's actually really interesting that Brian, for 2 rounds in a row now, has had full trigger. Now we're going to see it activated. But this is super late in the round. There were 20 seconds left on that clock, and largely didn't get him anything.
Yeah, I mean, my gut would say that, like, if you're not using it at all, if the V-trigger itself isn't doing anything for you, you could use the V-trigger in the neutral to try to stabilize the game for you with the V reversals or the V shifts. But with the mobility of Karen and the fact that it's not like there's a lot of pressure, it feels like a lot of what Rob is getting is just great hit confirms on pokes. I feel like outside of maybe that extended sequence in the corner in that last round, Rob has gotten a whole lot of damage just on the strength of the neutral and hasn't really needed to do a more conventional, like, Street Fighter 5 style pressure game.
Yeah, and it's a lot off of, what Brian's offering to the table. We're seeing lots of dash punches, lots of, followays for, skill charges, but largely not a whole lot outside of it. Finally, we're going to get a nice check here and tons of damage on the board already for Brian. Gets the anti-air back into the corner. Oh, wait, but these attacks are good.
Oh, man, hit him with the Mario Kart. Rob was sitting here playing Street Fighter. Brian hit him with the Mario Kart with the double dash. First round on the board here for Brian F.
This is top 8, so it is 3 out of 5. Casa exclusive coming at you live. And this is interesting because, you know, we've seen Rob come out strong at the gate, right? Very good defensively. Obviously, his neutral game is pretty on point right now. And now that, you know, Brian fell the first game, he's starting to come back a little bit. We're starting to see some adjustments already.
Yeah, but this corner pressure is so good. I talked about that Rob hadn't really had to open up the 5-style offense, but Karen can absolutely do it. But now we see the hit into VT. What's the mix going to be? No, just the block string on the way out. Rob content to take it.
Yeah, wondering if we're going to see a command grab even attempted anytime soon. This is the second time we've seen him activate so far.
Ooh,
there it is. Grips him right mid-screen, gets him knocked down, dashes forward into block.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as though Rob is demonstrating a willingness to take it, which I don't think is wrong, right? That's the first commandment as Brian F manages to close out the first round, manages to use the V-skill stores much more effectively in this game. I feel like a lot of clutch moments ended up coming out because Brian had the V-skill store and was able to get the combo after the fact with it. So maybe Rob is going to turn the juice on a little bit more and not give Brian as much room to bring that out if there's an adjustment of that sort of minor detail to be made here.
Yeah, and you know, looking back at the bracket, Brian's matchup before this one was Vega in terms of Metro M. So definitely a large difference in play style coming from not only Metro M, who's kind of a crazy person, but also from the Vega to now the Kirin and having to adjust into that separate neutral game and try and play around it. And now that, you know, Brian had that game number 1, he's really turning on the afterburners here, gets the stun on the back throw, and is looking to speed run this, even gets the 7 golden letters up atop.
My God, Rob locked that round with his face. Absolutely everything worked out for Brian, getting away with V-skill stores and immediately cashing them out. There's the back throw from Rob. Oh no, managed a late, I suppose, off of the confirm on the low forward there. Great plus frames on it, clips the walk back with the low forward.
Oh, big crush there. He spends a bar just to get a little bit more pressure here in the corner. And things are looking pretty good this round for Rob. One thing I'm noticing, though, from Brian, Brad, is that he's doing V-skill, dash back, rush punch forward. And he's done it a couple times now, and it worked in the game before this one, you know, the one that Brian won, but it feels super telegraphed now that I've seen it, you know, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I wonder if it seems as though Rob is trusting his ability to throw out pokes and deal with the rush punches. Where normally what you might see in a matchup like this, if it's so rush punch heavy, is you start to go to neutral jumps as a means of dealing with these threats. But Rob has stayed grounded in doing it, and I wonder if maybe Bryden has just found that cadence, and that's part of what's blowing this stuff up here.
Look at this. They're so close. Oh, we're finally going to get an open up. I mean, I'm so interested in Brian's trigger usage because I feel like this is very uncommon. Now we're getting a V breakthrough, which that one very successful.
Was that an accident? Somebody find me Brian's Twitter in a little while. As we all know, Brian won NLBC this week with the accidental DP on Wake Up against Shine.
Accidental, they say. But I don't know, Brad, because think about like some of the other Balrogs we get here. You know, Child obviously can be very quick to using the trigger bar. Nelbomb also traditionally very quick on the trigger finger there, both in terms of V reversal and V shifts, sometimes to his sometimes to a fault. But Brian is literally just holding it as if he was a GameStop holder.
Yeah, I do wonder, especially I feel like V-Skill 2 on Boxer is one of the better V-Skills in the game for actively charging your V system, to the point that when I was made a believer of V-Skill 1, or I'm sorry, V-Trigger 1, V-Skill 2, in how good a job it did at letting you use the V system. But we're really not seeing it. Oh my God, the slight delay into the low dash straight for a 2-1 lead now of Brian F over Rob TV. Yeah, I really do wonder what the idea is. Like, it's not just that we're not seeing Trigger in favor of other stuff. It's that we're seeing Bryant sit on the resource for a while.
And I mean, there is definitely a world where he just feels comfortable in it, right? You know, he's doing okay in the neutral. Now that we're past game 1, he's being given pretty free reign to just sit back and charge up V skill 2 and then use that to his advantage. You know, he's not being overly pressured in defensive situations either for the need of a V reversal or a V break. Because, you know, like we mentioned earlier, Rob's very in this neutral game. He's getting these whiff punishes. He's keeping the combo going.
Ooh.
He's not like just W keying into the corner.
Your esports caster is showing with the W key nomenclature.
Listen,
Rob
listen,
TV
listen.
gonna cash
There's
out a
enough.
bar for this offense. Oh my god, catches Brian F doing something on wake up that was not blocking his dome. Rob taking a round.
There's enough FPS players in chat right now to understand my W key reference. All right, it's not some unknown concept, Brad.
Oh my god, the low forward whiff punish once again from Rob. And I mean, that first game, it's gotten away from him in, you know, his ability to live inside of that space through a dash forward, not checked.
Yeah, does block the V reversal though, so staying strong. Oh, that's
Great.
Rob reaching again.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of the back and forth has been like a low forward, uncanceled, because obviously Rob's hit confirms are really good. Brian counter pokes back with a crush counter button that Rob blocks because he's not doing anything to overextend after the fact, and then it kind of resets backwards. We're seeing that exact exchange happen. Oh my
Ooh, I
god,
love that.
chasing the V shift back, and now caught reaching in the shimmy. That's going to be a stun for game. And it's 2-2.
I really like that sequence. He got the knockdown. Rob then went in for the grab, and Brian finally using some of that V-bar and actually gets punished for it. It was a very rare V-shift coming out from him, and it was read quite nicely there from Rob, able to get the chase down afterwards, thanks to, you know, Korean being quite privileged in some degree, and just closes it out. So it's 2-2, Brad. This is a hell of a game to start top 8 with.
Yeah, I mean, this is bonkers. And again, we talked about how stacked this top 8 is. This is just the beginning of it. So y'all are in for a good night so far. Brian off to a good round at the beginning of this, but Rob TV finding the low forward into the activate. Not activate, I'm sorry, the hit confirm, rather pushing all the way back past mid-screen now. The corner carry from Karen is so good. Both of these characters actually with really good corner carry.
Yeah, they've definitely made the usage of it all night long, as we do get the corner once again, one away from stun, maybe 2 hits away from stun, but
Oh my god.
only needs the one.
Did you seriously get away with finishing that into the overhead and caught Brian reaching?
I don't know if he was reaching. I think he was down backing, actually. I didn't see a counter pop up. Oh, that's definitely a punish on the sweep, though. Spends both bars, takes them all the way to the corner. But Brian, not really concerned with keeping Rob in the corner. He's totally content letting him out, charge up that V skill 2, maybe get some more, you know, frames out of it, and just keeping a nice pace and some good distance.
Ooh. Brian with the backdash and then whiff punishing as Rob tries to contest the space forward instead. Ooh, and now the check on the command dash
Oh, the
out
crush.
of the low forward. Are you dead for the 1 bar? Yes, you are. We are going to the true final round between Rob and Brian F. See, I got twisted because I read in the chat Rog is top 1, and I got so shook that I almost mispronounced Rob's name.
Yeah, that's definitely a cap in the chat. And we were actually having this conversation backstage about who's the better down player, Akuma players, Dawson players, or Cammy players. And we never even mentioned Rob at all.
Are there-
It just
I don't-
never came up.
Are there any Cammy down players? I don't think that's a real thing. I think even Cammy players are like, yeah, she's really good.
I don't know. Do we even have a Cammy top 8? I don't think so. But it doesn't matter because Rob has the life lead. How much longer will he have it, though?
But again, look at, it's the same story we've seen so many times through this matchup. Rob sitting on full resources, Brian with a bar that he's going to cash out super quick, and a V-trigger that we're not necessarily sure when it's going to get used.
If it gets used, if we do get the down tech coming through, this is looking pretty bad for Brian. He's in a tough spot, charges up, but Rob gets
Oh, you're
aggressive.
dead?
Rob has the bar, he gets the kill, and he's first 1 to 3.
So that sets Rob TV up over Brian F to the winners finals here of Casa Fridays Street Fighter V week 54. Yes, it has been 54 weeks that we have been bringing these to you guys and officially numbering them. I don't know, there's a weird gray area internally of whether week 1 was truly the start, but the point is, it's been a long time. It's been over a year. And Rob, now sitting in the winners finals, has the pleasure of playing the winner of our next winner side top 8 match, Shine and NYC Furby.
So one of my dreams for this top 8 was actually dead already right off the rip. I was hoping to see Brian versus Shine in winners finals. And then potentially the run back in grands. But shout out to Rob for killing that dream. But it can be salvaged, Brad. If Art is able to win this next matchup, we can still see Shine versus Brian there in the loser's side. But they would also then need to win another match to get to the loser's semis in order to make that happen.
Yeah, so Brian moves down to losers to play the winner of OG Yawn and Destructive, and the loser of this match moves down into losers to play the winner of Metro M and Flux Waves. All of these names, any single one of them, is a killer that would believably win one of these East Coast tournaments. All of them here in the top 8.
So we're actually, since we've been doing this for so long, Brad, we are very close to having a top 8 of champions. Because this is a pretty stacked top 8. Not every single one of these top 8 players has a Casa championship title. I'm trying to think of, because I don't think Ogion has one.
I don't imagine Rob has one because I don't think Rob has entered super often, right?
Yeah, so I don't think Rob has one. I don't think Metro has one.
I think Metro has one,
No,
doesn't he?
yeah, Metro does have one. I'm sorry. Ogion doesn't have one.
I know Shine has at least 2. Art has at least 1, right?
I think Brian made it to Grands but didn't win.
Shine picks the jury into Art's sim. I know earlier Shine was playing and we saw the Cody. Shine obviously representing Knife Cody a fair bit online lately. But no, playing the jury, which I remember, I believe Shine played the jury into IDOM at NLBC this week and won with it.
Yes, he did. It was pretty convincing too, if I remember correctly, because we were making fun of Bunch that night. But yeah, I mean, Shine absolutely looked super clean on the jury. So I'm excited to see it play into this matchup particularly, because Art has consistently been able to come in here and make sim matches look pretty 5-5 across the board. With relative ease, you know, the young man reactions and all that. And look at what he's doing right now. He is absolutely smoking Shine.
Wow. Well, looking like the grilling I'm going to be doing on Sunday, just hitting it with the charcoal fires. Art taking the first round on the board.
Man, I gotta learn how to charcoal. I just have a propane grill. Been using that all week. I did some steaks last night, some chicken tonight. I even did grilled eggplant yesterday. That was pretty good.
I'm not cultured enough to appreciate eggplant. It's a me problem though. Corner pressure here from Shine. Ooh, the V shift back. Oh, into the V break. But I'm sorry, sir. All you get are some safe negative frames. Oh, the left right into the nothing. That float there was communicating to me that you're doing something kind of sus. Shine cashing out the V skill to get the corner side switch.
Yeah, Shine's spending so much time in the air. It's almost like he's hunting for these floats to try and potentially get like a counter hit, juggle, or something like that. But it's just not working out. Art still in a deficit, uses that V trigger to try and even it up a little bit. That's a lot of great life, but it's all gone now.
I mean, Art's at the deficit, but let's remember that Dalsum is one of the best. Okay, never mind. I was going to say Dalsum's one of the best zoners in the game, so you know that there's some mix about to happen. But Shine just busts out with the EXTP, doesn't want to deal with any of that zoning.
Yeah, zoner, by the way. Does get the anti-air, but can't quite get the second one. I'm interested to see, because right now, in the last 10 seconds or so, we've seen Art go for all of the anti-air options in terms of actually hitting a button, sliding under, trying to get a punish. The only one we haven't really seen is the air-to-air option, but I don't think that's particularly great for Sim in this matchup anyway.
Yeah, I feel like traditionally, especially with how floaty your jump is, it's just not something that you usually go for. If you can't an anti-air with a button, you usually try to maneuver such that you don't have to deal with the jump hit at all. The fireball keeps him safe through the V skill. Oh my god, the float over the heel drop.
He just keeps pushing buttons.
Art is enjoying himself some slides.
he really hasn't been punished on the slides for a couple weeks now. For some reason, our top 8 players are really letting Art get away with those. And he's just cackling behind the keyboard at it as well. Just like, man, when are they going to punish it? Oh, they're not? Oh, bet. I'm going to keep doing it then.
All right. Right back into the lobby. I mean, Shine plays no shortage of characters, right? There's the Cody. Obviously, Shine has historically had Nabuki, so we could see a whole bunch of stuff while we are in here. Anyone who does not know already, we are Casa. We stream Street Fighter here on Damos OS every week. Make sure you follow Dom and make sure you follow Casa on Twitter. And if you want to show a little bit of extra love, I believe all the coupon codes are used. But whatever
Indeed.
else, if you feel so inclined, I think there's sponsor quests as well, right? That's a thing.
That
Do
is, you
we have
can.
that?
Yeah, we got sponsor quests. We got all top tier privileges. We're big friends with Matt Chirino.
There we
But you
go.
know what, chat? If you want to be big friends to us here at the Casa, if you have your Twitch Prime sub, go ahead and use that. Dom sits here week in, week out, supporting us by giving us the stream to talk over for you guys at home. So if you got that big purple button from Bezos, definitely be sure to share the love. And I mean, it's actually kind of crazy. All the Matt Chirino codes, Brad. I really don't know what's going on here anymore, but it's winter side.
Shine with the
So
Zeku, top 1 according to New York fantastic historical player Sanford Kelly. Got the conversation started. Now everybody's talking about, yeah, Zeku's really good. Is he top 1 though? I don't personally know that I believe it, but he's definitely got a strong kit. Let's see how Shine makes it work.
I think the issue with saying Zeku top 1 is that you have to use both forms of Zeku, right? Like you have to use old man and young man in conjunction to get the most out of the character. And we're getting players that can do that. That is a thing, and it seems like Shine might be one of them.
Oh my god.
But like it is a tough ask to basically play one and a half characters, right? And we've seen Zekus in the past. Crouch Fierce in the loser side traditionally has played a lot of Zeku. And we also have other players that showcase both sides, but it really is not one character. It's like one and a half.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, right? Like there's a lot of characters that have something akin to this. As Shine is absolutely making a clinic right now. This is going to be one more touch for game. Slide activate from Art, but Shine literally just backs off. Any poke will do it. All you need is a wide enough gap or a punish finds the stand short. Yeah, so with respect to, I mean, there's stance characters in other games, right? Like Zeku being as he is not a new concept, right? Like in 4 we had Gen. I mean, in Tekken, there's a whole bunch of characters that have mix-up stances, or even have like Hwoarang, where like he's got his litany of stances. I think the thing is just there's this extra degree of optimization that you need to have in order to use the character to their maximum efficiency. And what we found for a while in 5 was like a lot of characters with much simpler game plans found their way into making their stuff work in 5 super easily. So characters like Zeku, or even like a newer character like Rose, right? Or even Manat. It takes a little bit more time to squeeze all the life out of this character.
Yeah, I mean, something that, players are, it seems like they're starting to learn this based on today's Twitter discourse, is that if you're playing to win, you're gonna go the easiest and most simplest route that's still strong, because what is, in terms of optimization, the point in playing these complicated, hard to play characters when you can go the simple route, the top tier route, right? Like, nobody cares that you're a low tier main just because you talk about it. Like, it doesn't matter. Play what you want, but if you want to win, play the good character.
See,
which Zeku is.
That's so funny to me because I remember, starting out as a 09er, which is not that old, but, people did take pride in playing low tiers. And it's funny how we've developed the slide, catches Shine, overextending with the dash forward.
Slides again, by the way.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out, I think 2 or 3 times in that round when Art was floating and then went for teleport, Shine met teleport with neutral jump button and picking air buttons that have wonky hitboxes that hit on both sides, specifically to try to check the space. I thought there were 2 clutch moments where that happened, and that was super interesting.
I think
on the back foot here now, so I imagine kind of wants to play a little bit more conservatively with his life bar.
Yeah, I think the Zeku, just button-wise, is looking to be a good pick. There's a lot of tools in this kit that can At least so far, it seems like they can play well into what Art's been doing with the Dhalsim. And plus, when you do get in finally, it's a billion damage. You can just see
Yeah.
he's already lost a third of his HP bar. We weren't quite seeing that on the jury. So maybe the jury is just a newer character that hasn't fully been optimized. That was sick. Teleports forward, gets the left right, and it worked out.
I don't think that Shine is new. That Jury is new for Shine. I just think Jury has never really been good enough for Shine to play her more than as sort of like a passion pick, or for a few matchups for like really specific utilizations. I feel like Shine has played Jury on and off for a while. Otherwise, Art now up 2-1, and it's funny. So much of that round in my head, I could almost hear Art's like internal dialogue of like Shine got one jump in and burned a third of Art's health, and it's just like, oh my god, I can try to anti-air him and dodge him forever, and he just gets in once.
Up, gets in one more time. Doesn't have any meter to cash out though. Still does a grip of damage. Gets the throw on top of it. Just hunts him down.
Ooh.
Tried to use the Weasel during the V shift, and it didn't quite work out. And I know Dormancy is sitting at home, vaccine addled, going, "It's not a Weasel."
You know it. He's vaccine addled, wakes up from his dream, rolls over to get his Tylenol and his Pedialyte, and for no reason that he can discern, just shouts out, "It's not a weasel." And then drinks his, artisanal AeroPressed coffee. Get well soon, Dormancy. Enjoy being vaccinated.
His artisanal AeroPressed Pedialyte, by the way. Oh,
Yes.
man. That's a nice.
Zoner,
that's a nice
by the way.
backdrop.
So
Man,
Art's
this
on
is
set
actually-
point.
Yeah, this is quite a turnaround, actually. I mean, Shine, came into this game believing in the Zeku one more time, and it worked. It's shown some good prowess, but for right now, Art just adapts. I don't know if it's the flexibility that, Dhalsim brings to the table, but something about the way he downloads people in these top 8 sets is actually kind of sick, because it's so different. It's a character that everybody hates and downplays, but he just makes it work. He's doing it once again.
Oh my god, the snipe, but Shine was ready for it, shown a light on that scope. There's the slide into activation, V-shift back from Art. I did not block that at all. I thought that Art was gonna manage to go over. Shine only has, I think, one more V-skill or V-trigger charge left, has to deal with this mix, blocks it. Oh, TK Gale.
They both slid at the same time, and Arts was just a couple frames quicker. Gets the hit, gets the finish, takes it 3-1 as well. And it's kind of unfortunate at the end there, because Shine was really fishing for those slides, and so Art just beat him to the punch. But the Zeku had some stuff. Zeku was looking okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, that means that Art gets to move on. Winners Finals versus Rob TV. Shine drops down to play the winner of Metro M and Flux Waves.
The Brian F. Shine dream is still alive.
Yeah,
Maybe Shine sandbagged. Maybe that he just really wants to play Brian.
You think? Is that the headcanon going on here?
I mean, listen, he just couldn't wait till Monday for the first of 10. He had to get it out of the way early. He couldn't go the whole weekend with that hanging over his head. At least if he gets it here tonight on the Casa stream, that he can sleep at night a little bit better. Whether, well, I guess if he loses it, it might actually make his sleep worse. But
Yeah, sort of.
Brad, what's good to have at home?
What is good to have at home?
A coaster that doubles as a bottle opener.
What?
It's a coaster.
I was ready.
Right?
I was expecting you to segue into like Grinding Coffee Co. or some other sort of calculated segue shillery. You're just like, nope, this is a thing that exists that is good to have.
Listen, not everything has to be a shill, Brad. I know that in today's day and age, where ads are everywhere, hashtags, and just general product placement, it can be everywhere. I understand. But sometimes I like to sit at home, load up my computer, and go to grindingcoffeeco.com, order myself up some delicious coffee beans for me to grind up at home. And while I'm there, I'll even use code CASABUNCH at checkout for a little bit of a discount there. And it always It always makes me feel good on the weekends when I'm relaxing, maxing all cool, and I get my shipment in.
I, the
But
people
yeah,
at
no,
home
the
can't see my face. I'm holding my temples in disbelief that I queued you up for a segue by pointing out you didn't use one and you almost Bel Aired me.
but no, the coaster thing is actually pretty sick.
Sure, I get it. I have a bottle like just having a bottle opener. Wait a minute. So the logistics of a coaster and a bottle. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess I would appreciate having one, but like,
No, so it's literally just a circle coaster, probably 3-4 inches in diameter, and just like there's a bottle opener built into it.
okay, so destructive versus OG Yawn, and OG Yawn repping Cammy. I feel like we traditionally know OG Yawn as a Laura player, do we not? Am
Sure.
I
This is
am
true.
I incorrect?
No, you are correct. In fact, the very last time we saw him on screen, he was playing Laura. So interesting change of pace. I don't hate it because Cammy has been getting some heat lately. So definitely love to see that. But it's just
Oh, cool.
a
So
really
when you
strong
said
character.
when you said Cammy down players earlier, you meant you. Like, oh, I don't hate it. Cammy's kind of hot right now. Like, okay,
Listen,
no.
I never
Cammy
said
is
she wasn't good. I enjoy seeing Cammy on screen. I didn't say she wasn't good.
okay.
Brad.
D-
She's a good character, Brad. I don't know what you're getting at here.
Right, there's the V-trigger activation from Destructive in the shimmy. It works. The walk back, low forward catches. Destructive takes the first round on the board against a character that no one has honestly said they enjoy watching.
Well, that's cool. There's definitely people out there that enjoy watching Cammy. But I'm actually curious how long this will last. If this is just a quick 2 rounds that go in favor of Crouch Fierce, I have to imagine Yon changes. Like, I can't imagine they would stick on the Cammy at that point when the Laura is the main, is the workhorse that, basically got them to top 8. So
Yeah,
it's
I
also
wonder if
loser's side.
part of it is like a matchup choice against Zeku. Like maybe he doesn't like Laura into Zeku, but
So that is
I don't know,
actually
I mean-
reasonable because the thunderclaps are less useful against Zeku than a lot of other characters. So I can definitely understand some frustrations there, but you have to make the Cammy work in that sense.
yeah, well, I mean, let's see, right? Cammy's sitting with full CA right now. I think the right hit confirm into CA. If it's not a kill, it's absolutely very close. And look at that. Oh my god. Off the
He's
EX flash,
living.
hold on. Ogion actually did react to in that sea of stand short baits. And EX
So-
flash, Ogion actually did react to it. Are you kidding me? But then the dive kick gets anti-aired, Destructive meeting with a reaction of their own for the first game. Okay.
I got
We're
a little
both
concerned.
awake.
I got a little concerned for Destructive there because I've seen them before get really just kind of like brain addled when something like that happens because they're sitting back, they're hitting light kick just to try and bait them into the chip damage there, and like something blows them up and the whole round just falls apart for them. But I liked that Destructive was able to keep the sound mind, get the DP on the dive kick, and stay in the game basically.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think we had the chance to mull over whether we would be back in the lobby before we were. I have to assume that Ogion is going to look at this and be like, all right, you know what? I tried it. Let's just move on. No sense in contemplating that Cammy pick anymore. And yep,
Yep.
there's the Laura.
It just makes sense. I mean, so the problem is because the thunderclaps that Jan sometimes, depending on what character they're going up against, uses quite liberally, can be very easily negated by Zeku Old Man. So the problem is you need to be aware of when he's going to DP, and Crouch Fears can be very heavy on the DPs in the past, but he's one away from stun already. It's only been 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's Laura, right? Ooh, the dash-in command grab. This round, the pristine, super clean
Wait.
Laura round. Even drops the combo, turns the reset. Hella American.
Good old NA reset. It works out, though, because of the command grab. But That's kind of hurtful to watch. But look at how active that is. Like, that is so problematic in a lot of situations. And it blows up the Thunderclap, stays active, and just prevents a lot of people from getting in. There's the Mongoose Weasel.
Yeah, I think one of the things, if I have a critique to levy against OG it's that I feel like I watch them go to V-Skill a little bit, I'm going to say semi-desperately to open people up. And I say semi-desperately because OG is way better than I am. So, you know, there's something informed under the hood there, but it feels desperate. And Destructive clapping back with a perfect of their own. I mean, is this just going to be it? We might as well be flipping coins if that's how this is going to work. If it's going to be such binary rounds back and forth, never mind.
I was gonna say, they just traded peepees, Brad. Just why you just let them rock. But this round looking completely different. One away from stun once again is Destructive, but able to get out for a split second. Has to guess for the game.
Yon walked back way far for that shimmy. I mean, has VT, I imagine Destructive wants to wait for a VT activation on hit to make sure that you can cash out into damage.
Held on a bit too long. I almost thought they were gonna try and cash out on one of those dashes, that the EX dashes, but held on to it. Didn't like you said. We're probably waiting for the hit for the extra damage because it is Zeku. You don't get a huge amount done with just a raw activation. Sometimes it can be very similar to the Vega Rose Dash. I don't know what the heck this thing is actually called, but you know what I mean, Brad.
Yeah.
I hope the viewers at home do, because they may not in all truthfulness, and I just sound ridiculous. But you know what's not ridiculous? Raw overheads in the neutral, in mid-screen.
And see, that's what I mean, right? Like, OG Yon represents it as part of the kit more often than I feel like I see, at least when I played her, but like I was risk averse as a player. Maybe that's why players like OG Yon are sitting here taking rounds on Destructive here in top 8 of Casa, and I'm sitting here just talking about it. Maybe if I was more willing to just whip out these overheads and be like, hey, you know how you're appreciating that down back? Stop it.
It's because you're respectful, Brad. You know, you were raised right, you respect people that are older than you, you know, higher stature, and it's not how you're supposed to play fighting games. You're supposed to be disrespectful, you're supposed to spit on them, and you're supposed to take them to the corner and do what you want with them.
That sounded kind of questionable, man. All right. That just whole description was like, oh my god, our fighting games are gross. Is that what people do to people? No wonder I stopped playing mix-up characters.
It's why the arcades don't exist anymore, Brad.
That's why. All right, 1 game to 1 and 1 round apiece. Who is going to take up this first game? Or, I'm sorry, this second game for either of them. Who is going to go to 2 games first is absolutely what I meant. Ooh, no! What? OG drops the combo off the Torrid Spheres.
Yeah, we're getting lots of resets here. Counter into Crush, but just follows it up with the grab. Not a whole lot of pressure being applied here, but OG can just sit back on their laurels for now. They have that life, or they had that life lead. It's, oh, he drops it again! The internet's acting up, Brad.
Yeah. This round is looking like CFN showed up to the potluck with some spaghetti.
Man, that's the worst thing to bring to a potluck, by the way. Holy. Like, really? We're only worth the $1.70 it costs for pasta and sauce to you? You're not invited back if you bring pasta to a potluck.
Yeah. I don't know. OG made it work, though. 2 games straight on the Laura now. That was a close round, but managed to make it happen despite, as we said, a couple of unfortunate situations where it started to slip out of his fingers, but now taking the lead in the set.
This is where things get really scary for Crouch Fierce, though, because they're already down the round. They have this Laura ahead of them that can be so volatile, and even though Zeku has this damage that they can really rely on, Destructure's been having a little bit of a hard time really cashing out the most, you know, effectively.
Oh my god, OG is playing super active in the neutral right now. And it's interesting, I mean, part of the reason you can get away with that is because right now Destructive is sitting in young Zeku, right? We didn't see this against old Zeku where he was playing super active with the Grams.
Yeah, you also don't have the DP as young Zeku, so you gotta be, wait. Yeah, you don't have DP as young Zeku. I had to think about it for a second. So like there's not as much as a concern for Ojian, I think, in that case, because, you know, Crouch Warriors can't just break out at any time. He has to be a little bit more respectful of this Laura offense.
Yeah.
Right there.
And I wonder, it's this weird balancing act for Destructive, right? Because it seems like he's backdashing a lot to the point where I almost wonder if he's trying to find a switch. There's the V-trigger activation on the anti-air. Now going to be able to go for some pressure. As old, there's the Graham. No, right back into Young. Trying to make this happen in this close range, finds the jump over, and then the back throw to close out the round. And it's this thing, right, where, like, I feel like the Young Zeku, like, it's so scary in that range, and you don't have the defensive tools that you might want to try to, you know, swing it back into your favor. But, like, it's the thing that you need to be in that range against Laura to really keep the offense going.
Yeah, the other part is that Ojian hasn't been as fireball heavy as we've seen them in the past, so you don't get as much value out of the old Zeku in this matchup, whereas, you know, if there was a lot of thunderclaps being relied upon, you know, they're just being chucked out in neutral a whole lot, the old Zeku can challenge those a lot easier, whereas because this is that neutral matchup of who gets in first, who can keep things going, the young Zeku with the better buttons, with the quicker neutral, is so much more reliable.
Yeah, and Destructive takes it with the DJ Scratch to close it out into the Hick and Firm, into the EX slide. 2 games to 2. So many close sets so far in the top 8. You know I called it that.
Man, it's game 5 for the second time tonight in top 8. We've had
Oh, God. Not only does Ojian get the big jump in on the Graham for the read, but the reset into...
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, sir. This is a Laura round. Doesn't even need to fully optimize the corner combo. We don't got to worry about the backdash and the micro spacing and anything. That's as Laura combos as it gets.
That's not how you wanted to start game 5. Rough seas ahead here for Zeku the Ninja. He's getting a little bit done here, but Ojian's just back on pressure, back on the gas pedal, keeping it forward, and gets another crush. Going for stun again, just about there.
It looked like Destructive tried to do an overhead in the middle there. I have to assume that was a dropped input. There's no way you wanted to do an overhead at range 0 defensively. Maybe it was a gap for a V reversal. It doesn't matter because it doesn't ultimately work out. And Ojian closing out the round, nay the game, nay the set, 3-2, and moves on to play Brian F.
Yeah, maybe it was an attempt for like a mash out DP.
But it was Young. You don't have DP as Young.
Oh, was he Young?
Yeah.
All right, then yeah, you're right. You don't have a DP. You're smoked, man. Tough C's, tough looks there for Destructive, but they'll be back. They're regularly here. We love seeing them time in and time out, and they regularly make top 8, so they are definitely putting in the work. So we'll look forward to seeing them again next week. So what did you say, Brad? Ojian versus Brian F. That should be fun. I wonder what Ojian plays. I wonder if they go back to the Cammy.
Oh, I imagine... well, I don't know. I feel like you still pick the Laura because I don't know that you want to play an underdeveloped character against other people like this.
The Brian F., the one and only NLBC champion.
Sure, but like at the same time, you know, everyone else in this top 8 is like also swimming in that pool of like, yeah, you better come correct. And Ojian clearly felt comfortable putting a game behind the Cammy, so, you know, what do I know? You know what I do know? Flux Waves versus Metro M. And this is definitely a matchup that we have seen at the Casa at least once before, if not once, a million times. And I honestly don't remember where in that gradient it exists, but I know that I've seen it. Both of these players, super regular on here. Flux Waves, for a time, if not still, the winningest player for the Casa, especially with all the dubs that Flux Waves had from Grand Blue when we were still running that game a lot earlier in the game's lifespan, where Flux Waves had a whole bunch of dubs there as well.
Yeah, if we're counting both games, I think Flux 100% still has the most winningest title. In terms of just Street Fighter, I think Art is actually getting very close to tying the number of championships, because Art is definitely a menace to the top 8 here, just smoking everybody. But this matchup, Brad, this is actually one of the oldest matchups in Casa. Both of these players have been here since day one. And that was back when Metro's internet was basically if McDonald's Wi-Fi was 5G or 4G at the time, technically. So thankfully they've got that sorted out, and we're able to see them quite confidently compete here regularly. So shout outs to them for being here for the long haul. But it seems like at this rate, maybe the internet has died a little.
See, I don't know, right? Because, I mean, both of these characters are these normal focused mid to long range kind of stuff. And Poison is going to be, once Claw is inside of that whip range, Claw can play with his normals before Poison has the ability to use her non-whip tools to contest in that mid range. So Fluxwave's playing as actively as he is right now. It does make sense.
It also helps that the whip has a hurt box, so there is a decently easy punish as long as the range is correct. But EX heart rate cancels out the jump in, and this is a very slow matchup, which is nothing abnormal for these two players. But Claw's broken. This is a new skin for Metro, by the way, so keeping it fresh. Oh, the mask off, damage in, 1 bar in the back pocket. You gonna hold on to it? Ooh.
Oh, okay. Eats the second Molotov on Wake Up, does Metro M, and lives through it, but unfortunately caught guessing in the scramble / shimmy after the fact first round of the set. Goes to Fluxwaves.
Yeah, Flux, pretty solid on just Laura in general. Has a lot of really good reads on how they're supposed to be playing the character, but Metro M definitely no slouch, especially once they get in. And they have good damage here on the Vega. It's not exactly, top tier damage, but when it hits, it hits.
Okay, trying for some off the wall stuff here as Metro M really wants to inch his way out of the corner.
I mean, does he really need to? Because he can get the unblockable if he's in the corner, bro.
I mean, from that screen position, it's like you're blocking same side if Claw is in the corner, or you have the full screen travel distance to the opposite wall before you come back. It's not really unblockable unless your back is in the corner. Went for the overhead, but too far away, and you can't let Fluxwaves live. The damage on the V-trigger activation combos from Poison is still pretty high, but I feel like this is still a 2-touch game with the Molotov gone, plus frames off the heart rate, and the V-skill back blowing up Fluxwaves for overextending 1 round apiece.
Man, I just realized the similarities between Vega V-Skill 1 and Cammy V-Skill 2. Very interesting. But so it's 1 apiece, bro. I don't know if I expected that, to be fully honest with you.
I mean, they have a similar play style, right? In the sense that they're both super mid-range focused. I think part of the difference is, like, there's a pocket in the middle of Poison's pressure game and Poison's zoning game where Vega wants to operate. And if Vega gets past that pocket on his own terms, Vega has some gimmicky stuff with, like, stance cancel dancing and stuff like that, where Vega's pressure can be really good. But I feel like it's a delicate line to walk.
Yeah, and delicate is another word for slow play. So 50 seconds on the clock remaining. We're getting a nice trigger hit combo here coming out of Metro. Takes him to the corner as well. Has lots of pressure available to him now. Doesn't even need it. Just gets the character kill.
Vega wins.
Yeah, so first
Shout
game
outs to
managing
Facts in the chat.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the wrong chat at all. You're right. Bring that energy in here. We're all happy to hear it.
Just don't let
It's
that
fine.
bunch catch you. He's on a shooting spree tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I just caught a glance of Tourney staff, and there's absolutely nobody in it. So Bunch definitely just shot a bunch of people.
Well, so the problem is...
Welcome.
Oh, wait. He just kicked him out. Man, he really lit up the chat. I thought he was just kicking him to, like, AFK or something, but nah. They're dead and gone. We'll see him next week, I guess. But, man, look at this. It's game 2. Metro M currently in the lead, both HP-wise and game-wise.
And look at it, right? When Metro M is able to navigate to that range in between Poison's long and short range, Metro M gets to be in the driver's seat. And if he plays aggressively into that pocket and presses past it, then he gets to be in the driver's seat and be the one that is exhibiting the pressure. It is beholden on Flux Waves to kind of ensure that when they're playing at that inside range, that Flux is the aggressor.
And both of these players are totally fine with timing out their opponent. Like, they're not pressed for time here tonight. Like, they don't have anywhere to be, no hot dates, no dinner reservations. They'll hang out all night long just to get that victory. So, I mean, we might be here a while yet, but Metro is able to take the round. And even carries a little extra bar in with them.
I mean, Metro's looking really good right now. And at what point, if at all, do you see a character switch from Flux Waves?
I mean, what would you swap to? Because you have the Manat obviously in the pocket. We saw it earlier in the
I
night.
wouldn't pick the Manat, but like I wonder about like maybe the Mika, where like you feel like you can get in once and then just win off of that. But even that's kind of tough, right? Because you have to navigate the neutral. I feel like that's a very all-in kind of character pick.
Yeah, especially with V-Shift the way it is right now, like, you can very easily kind of wreck Mika's day. Obviously, she's still represented by a fair number of players, but definitely not one of the grapplers that is feeling too hot this season.
Yeah, oh my god. And Metro M just chipping away. It's a super atrocious matchup, and Metro M is finding the better of it. 2 games up over Flux Waves. And yeah, I don't disagree that it feels late for a character switch, but what I will say is that first game was far closer than that second game. If I'm Flux Waves, this is the point where I'm being like, all right, maybe this isn't it. And it does look like we're going back to the lobby, so I have to imagine we are going to see a character switch. I think the thing is, I don't feel like Manat is going to bring anything to this that's going to help to solve this problem. Like, you have, maybe you have slightly better range in that you can get the orb out and stuff, but you also feel slower than Poison in that respect. So I can't help but feel like, if it's me, I feel like it's Mika and you're like, I'm either getting in and running away with it, or I'm not. Because Mika just needs to get in once and get 2 or 3 good guesses. And
the Manat
maybe
also
you can do that.
The Manat doesn't, in my mind, have as much like lockdown potential as well. Like, when, at least on the Poison, like, you have the EX heart rate to break them close, you have the Molotovs into buttons to try and keep them locked in and get that gray life to eventually cash out. Whereas, like,
It's the Mika.
She's like, the Manat would try and trade buttons for the most part of the round, whereas Mika is Mika. The whole glue-aiding shebang is just going to try and rush you down, murk you in the corner, make you guess for buttons, and hopefully lose. But already, Brad, you're a prophet. The buttons are winning out.
Well, this is the difficulty, right? Is like you need to, especially with 1 game to lose on the board, you need to really mix up between, you know, body splash, actual jump in, and different charged dive kicks and these dashes. And you need to get in, and the second you do, you need to absolutely maximize everything that you have. As it is right now, Flux Waves is dead on like 1 good confirm. Has a Nadeshko on deck. Chases the flip back though. Nadeshko gonna make some stuff happen. Gets the side switch, but unfortunately a little far away from the corner. The V reversal here from Metro M brings him back to the corner. The chase down with the hit confirm up the stand strong. V shift back there from Metro M, but the chase down a little too far away, but the hit confirm on the stand strong now from Flux Waves.
Metro, tons of bar to work with though. All 3 of them, even with the V reversal to boot, just keeps going back to the corner. But it's the giant.
Are you dead with the gray life? No, just barely not.
But you still need 1 hit, right? Like, yeah, Flux is willing to hang out, but
the clench was so real.
what? That was like when
so
Sim goes for the shooters
jump
on the roof and then just floats there until he dies.
No, so the jump forward jab was because Flux Waves thought Metro M might do the Azuna drop, the falling portion closer to Flux Waves for the mix. And then the scramble after the fact with the land was where Flux Waves was able to make some stuff happen. That was calculated. There's your unblockable. You wanted it. There it was.
Now, chat, we know it's not really unblockable, but you try to block it next time. But tons of damage on the board. Only needs a little bit more for stun, but you're actually dead before you're stunned at this point. But V-shift, V-break, V-reversal, all of it being used here. And what do you do now? Lots of real life on Metro's side, but it's simply not enough.
Yeah, I mean, Flux Waves played that as well as they could. You know, had to burn all the V gauge to sort of turn the round back around, which means you don't get an Nadeshko. But then Fluxwave's cycling a lot of options to recycle back to plus frames and going to the air where Vega doesn't have great anti-airs. But now Metro M is on set point. This is tough. The hit confirms on the stand strong, working wonders here for Fluxwaves, and we keep seeing it. All of these situations going right back in to the charge drop kick.
Just a regular forward throw for the stun. Cashes out into the CA, and we're heading to a game 4, surprisingly enough.
I mean, Fluxwaves is just built like that, man. You know, there's this. I saw, you know, JR Scribe saying in the chat that it's really hard for a player to warm up this quick, but I don't know. Fluxwaves must have, you know, an industrial kitchen of a brain where there's the heat lamp just keeping the other characters warm on the side, because it's so rare that I see the character switch and it looks like Fluxwaves misses a beat.
Yeah, it's very good. And they're very different playstyles as well, right? Like Mika versus Poison or Manat. Like you're not trying to rush people down on Poison Manat, but all of a sudden Mika comes in and you just shut the brain off and you push buttons till it works. But yeah, you're definitely right in that there's very little lag between characters in terms of Fluxwaves' brain. Tries to armor through with the microphone, but it got blown up. Oh no.
All right, finds the side swap, and this is all it takes. This is like 3 guesses, 2 or 3 guesses per game. The V shift into the V break, Metro M gets out, and that's critical. The V trigger of Fluxwaves nullified, manages to make the drop kick whiff, and now Metro M in a pristine position to win this round.
That was the first time we'd seen the V skill in response to the dropkick. And I don't know the exact frames because I'm not a mathematician, but I feel like that could be on reaction. So all those ones we saw earlier from Fluxwaves that were pretty free, pretty unpunished. That time he went for it, it was early, gets crush countered, and now he's in the corner.
Oh, the next guesses for stun, just Mika things. I don't think you get to kill on this one combo, so do we see a reset of some kind? No, it's going to be another guess. No, actually it was finding the V-skill store, but now you have to deal with the guess. Oh my god, one more. And Metro M hitting some buttons out of that. The bravery of Metro M.
Yeah. What do you got to lose, right? The V trigger into throw is enough to stay safe, but it's still just a one-hit game on the side of Metro. Does get the knockdown, though. Tries to get fancy with it, but the V-shift, perfectly timed from Flux, stays alive just another round longer.
St. Colo was saying on stream literally just the other day, like, if you're a command grab character, please stop command grabbing when you have no life left. I understand that it's the Twitter highlight reel and it's the best scale on the stun, but like it is exactly the situation where you're gonna get smoked out the damn sky. Fluxwaves sniping the Azuna drop with an EX of his own.
You know what, chat? Don't listen to Cola. Do whatever your heart tells you. If you want to wake up DP 7 times in a row, you do that shit. There's nothing stopping you from getting that Twitter highlight clip except yourself. Don't let a professional tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, man, drive without a seatbelt.
Well, no. That's bad advice, Brad. We give good advice here. We give you
store
advice
your
to
propane grill tanks right next to your house.
You know what? What? All right. Well, hold up. Technically, I do that, but it's on my deck. It's like 10 feet away from the house. Is that okay? Or are we talking like the big ass ones that are like 100 gallons?
It doesn't matter, man. The point is the managing to trip guard was Metro M with the stand short punish as Fluxwaves is caught landing, and the Mika does work, but not quite enough work as Metro M takes it 3-1.
You know what they say, Brad?
No, what do they say? I don't like that you waited for me to give you the answer.
Everybody gets
What do they
one.
say? Okay.
Man, we get to watch more Street Fighter tonight. This is sick. I love Casa
We do.
Fridays.
Yeah, you know what? We got to watch so much Street Fighter. They looked at this top 8 ordinarily. I feel like on a lot of nights, we'll look at the top 8 and the first round of losers gets played off stream in the interest of time. But nah, not for this top 8. This was too much.
Well, you know what's good about that is that everything before top 8 was so quick that we actually had the bonus time. So, you know, if you want to see all games of top 8 on stream, just win faster before top 8. That way we can have the extra time. Actually, we started at 10, didn't we? So
Yeah, right on the dot. No, it's just we wanted to make sure that everybody got to see all of this action. There was
Speaking of action.
nothing to skip. No filler arcs in this anime.
I don't like filler arcs.
Nobody does.
I mean, you got those weirdos that like beach episodes, but I think that's a different conversation entirely. And the conversation that I want to be having right now, Brad, is Ojion versus Brian F.
Yeah, so like we talked about it a little bit earlier after Ogion's first game. I am assuming that Ogion is going to stick with the Laura.
Nope.
Oh,
You were
okay.
wrong.
No, I was hella wrong. I was going to be like, Laura Boxer? I wonder. But no, Brian rocking the G and Ogion pulling out the Cammy. So
Collusion.
I know nothing about anything. All I know is ever since I saw G Super for the first time, all I've ever thought of was that scene in Across the Universe, and I love that it's come full circle and G now has a hippie costume.
I don't know that movie. G fireballs are sick though. It's always been a highlight of the character for me. I remember back when G first released it, Knuckle was one of the ones that were really, really great at being able to walk the line with the fireballs because they are so different than a lot of others on the cast, and you can get some funky interactions with it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's intriguing is I think there was a sequence earlier where usually you would see a G player going for the presidential level, like we just saw there, but Brian had said went for the dashes because didn't want to reset to neutral. Wanted to keep the pressure kind of going. Ogion now kind of in the driver's seat, doesn't have the life lead, but had the advantageous position. Unfortunately, the dive kick in a VT crossing up, and there's that fireball to which you spoke. Brian taking the first round.
That was counter hit too, so Ogion had tried to do something to get out of that corner pressure. Was maybe trying to beat out the fireball, but it's pretty dang quick, especially once you start getting those levels up. Plus then, eventually you do get the second portion of the fireball, which really changes the game.
Man.
But you get stunned pretty quick against this character as well. You're still alive, but you now have to deal with a fully powered up G. Never mind.
Wow, hit the buttons on wake up. There was some disrespect there, but the V shift back, that almost punished the dive kick just a little bit too far away.
What?
Wow. What?
Oh, smoked. All right, so 2 games in a row now on Ogion's Cammy. We've seen dive kick get air to aired, and we've seen a punish super out of them. So we're on for a show. Tried it again, didn't work out that time. Counter hit.
Brian is fishing with these jump back strongs. There we are, the misspaced dive kick as Brian manages to punish for the first game with the hippie G.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, does in G Super, does he say people of the earth or power of the earth?
I think he says power to the earth, light 'em up. Or something to that effect, right?
That is
Like, I
a
don't know.
very hippie thing to say.
Round 1.
All right, yeah, we have the God voice. I'll trust Dom, who definitely plays this game more than I do.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, no, definitely a very hippie thing. Even ends with the light it up, which, everybody's favorite saying at the end of a long day. So for now, though, back to the corner. And this actually looked really clean. I was actually surprised, Brad, that we're seeing Cammy and G for 2 games in a row. Both players feeling confident in their choices. Definitely Brian getting the better advantage, though.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. Well, I suppose not. I would have thought that Ogion would have gone to the Laura, but I guess Laura into G must be a matchup choice that Ogion really doesn't want to play.
I mean, we said that last time, too, didn't we? When it was Cammy versus Zeku. But
Sure, but I think we ultimately kind of concluded, I mean, it must be a less bad matchup, right? Like, G's fireball hits at this range where, like, it's going to be, like, having to spend your bar to navigate the fireballs and the limbs is kind of problematic. He's a 4-frame and doesn't necessarily have a reversal, so once you're in, you can, be in, but
yeah, you're super.
it's irritating to kind of navigate as the Laura player, and you probably don't want to. Any hit will do it. There's the stand short from Ogion to get the round for themselves.
Yeah, I am super curious though, because it's not like G's an underplayed character. Like, there was a time and place where he was everywhere, and there's a ton of people that still play him to this day. that, you know, I'm not going to say Ojian doesn't have experience against the character. So, I mean, you're probably right, Brad, in that they just don't like the matchup. But, you know, I think if they lose here, I think we see a character swap for the same reasons we saw the character swap from Flux Waves, right? It's still loser side. You only get one chance left. You might as well go out on your best character.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to take it. I don't know that it's enough to say I'm down 2 games, ergo I'll switch. I think you need to actually look at what's working and what doesn't and determine whether the character switch brings anything different for you. And one thing is, you know, as great as Cammy's moveset is, as awesome a job as she has of being able to, you know, fill your mental stack on the ground and with her air options, Brian is still the one entirely dictating the pace of the neutral and the ground game. So I don't necessarily know what Laura brings to the table that changes this matchup fundamentally in a way that makes things work for Ojion outside of just comfort with the character. So I mean, that's kind of the thing, is like, I don't know that Laura solves a problem that's happening on screen unless you decide that the problem that you're losing is that your Cammy is simply not up to snuff, which may be the case, but that's harder to qualitatively evaluate, you know, if you're just taking the match on its own, you know?
The other problem, Brad, is that in a lot of cases, I feel like in terms of players that have multiple characters, in my opinion, the person that changes character first doesn't have a very high success rate in terms of the set, right? Because say this is the Laura pick, which since we went to character select, I have to imagine it is Laura, not just a thinking mode to go back to Cammy.
Uh-huh.
So say we get the Laura, beats G game 1. Brian can just go back to Boxer whenever he wants. Like he's gonna have that option. And he's Brian F. He's played Laura a billion times as Boxer. So that's definitely a matchup he's very familiar with. And so he can even go down 2 games and make it a game 5 series and still probably be confident heading game 5 with Boxer.
Round 1. Fight.
Yep, so we do see the Laura switch here from Ojion. Oh wow, okay, is that a V skill change from Brian F? I I'm not even sure that I've ever seen that move that he just did. I've literally never seen anyone pick that.
Scratching my brain, and yeah, I'm not super familiar with the Gil ideas, but not Gil, G, the other G character. I have seen that, but usually it's just Twitter highlights, so I don't put much faith in those. But I mean, coast to coast, here we go. Let's wake up, get the jab out. But yeah, thunderclaps are not safe in this matchup either, Brad.
Oh, that's gonna be the stun. Yeah, Brian is gonna be up the round now on set point.
Optimal with it, with the back throw.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, round start, stand strong.
He even spent the extra meter to get the EX to guarantee the V skill charge. Which I mean, if he'd just
Wow.
gone jumped in on it, would have been a problem. But again, we go the entire screen. Man, Ojion's getting smoked. This is oh man.
Yeah, the next one is for stun, hits buttons on wake up, but here's the thing though, is it is Laura, and you can actually never count Laura out when Laura has VT, because at any point she could hit you and you just die in 2 guesses. So like, we've still got the RPS to deal with, but if you're gonna get crush countered as you aggressively try to charge the TK clap and the huge bet on the EX elbow, Brian is gonna punish that and take the set on the sweep 3-0. Brian moves to the losers semis.
That's the first one of the night too, at least in top 8.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, Jan.
God, the G pick.
And it wasn't no first time G either. Definitely showed some practice on it. You know, showed up quite effectively. Obviously, it's a 3-0, right? Like, you don't get a 3-0 by just, you know, looking pretty. Definitely got to put the work in to get those on the board. Looking at the brackets, we should be getting our next matchup in a second, which
Yeah, it's
is...
gonna be Metro M and Shine. So again, Shine, another one of those, and we see this so often now, not just in Casa, but I feel like everywhere, where so many of these top players play multiple characters at a super high level to the point that there's so much for you to try to theory craft, you never really know what you're going to get. And like you can kind of try to make evaluations on character matchup, you could try to make evaluations on player matchup, like what is Shine going to bring in against the Claw?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that too, right, Brad? Like, we're in an online world now. Anything goes. It's completely Wild West out there. If you like a character, just play him. Nobody's flaming you. There is, a lot of people saying that this has been one of the most balanced seasons of Street Fighter V history. And the game's been out for 6 years. Like, players, they want to have fun, so they're able to try out all these different characters, practice them up a little bit. These online tournaments are fairly low stakes, right? Like, there aren't always CPT spots on the line. So, coming to a Casa, an NLBC, Wednesday night fights, like, you can have fun with it. And what are video games, Brad, if not for fun and proving you're better than somebody else?
Those two things are mutually exclusive, Doc. Unless
Listen,
you are succeeding in proving that you're better than someone, and there's nothing more fun than that. We are loading in, so as we load in, we will get to see what Shine is going to play. So far today, we've seen represented from Shine the Zeku,
Jury.
we've seen the Jury, we've seen the Cody. I don't know if maybe he played the Ibuki earlier in the bracket, but definitely no shortage of characters to bring to the table. If I'm guessing, I mean, of all of those characters, oh, it is going to be the Cody. Okay. Crime Sway with the knife.
Crime
is the
Sway is kind
loadout.
of interesting to me because don't we typically see that in Fireball matchups?
Yes, but I feel like Shine picks Crime Sway in general. I think partly for like different, situations specifically where you can try to get some guaranteed stuff, but also I think Shine tries to pick some spots to backsway like limbs and stuff to try to catch something. Right now, catching these hands though in the corner. Nah, there's the crouch jab to bust out, and we're gonna activate into the knife.
Definitely, I would say this is Shine's most played tournament character as of late, so you're going to be very, very confident on this. Enters a lot of the same tournaments as Metro, so definitely going to be comfortable in this particular matchup. And the knife normals are so active. Like, you can literally take a nap, mortgage a house, and move in with your grandparents in the time that you can reactivate that. But it's the CA for Metro for game 1, round 1.
Yo, I've done 2 out of those 3 things, and they were both lengthy processes. So that is a whole lot of time to activate the knife.
And you know what's even better? 2 out of 3, we'll never know which 2.
Yeah, take your guesses, everybody.
Oh man, speaking of guesses, what is going to be happening here in just a couple seconds, because Shine is going to be able to get the corner pressure going, but it's Cody. What do you do on somebody else's wake up? You're not going to DP him like some of those filthy Shoto players.
Oh no, goes for the tornado, but Metro M is already in the skies moving forward, understands that there's only so many tools that Shine is going to have in those situations. And I feel like that kind of situation is the one where we typically see Shine throw the tornado. Right? There's the activation.
Well, nice little sequence there, and talk about knife normals into CA even. Full cash out, no money in the bank. At least he gets around.
Yeah, he's gonna have to check his commissary after that one, see how much money ended up in there.
Such a weird concept, commissary. But
Right?
again, not a conversation probably meant for Casa Live. That's definitely more of a Casa Cast conversation with me, Bunch, and Dan Cravat back there. But talking about Street Fighter, which is what I think we're here for, probably. Very even round here. As you can see, CAs have been traded up on the top, but knives are loaded in the back pocket. We're going to get an activation here. And what's the next step?
Metro's gonna find a gap and then Rose out of the corner is what I would guess. So naturally, Shine is just gonna keep scooping this man. Oh, we didn't even see a slide underneath. That's interesting. I'm surprised that Metro M wasn't watching for Shine to go to the air and then slide underneath. That's something that you usually see from like a Dawson player, for example, but maybe the kind of energy to bring to the table. What's the mix going to be? Metro M only has a little bit of life left, but sitting here fully loaded. There's the challenge through the forward space, though, for Shine, and is going to take this first game.
Yeah, it was still a two-touch game there, even with the CA available to Metro M, and that's at best. Largely, it was more likely going to be a three-touch game, so it does just kind of get closed out at the end there. Shine able to stay strong, brings it into the next game. No changes. I don't think we're going to get any changes in this set. I simply don't. I don't think we're going to get a different character out of Shine. The Cody looking strong, looking pretty even with the claw, but who knows? It could change.
Right. Metro. Ooh, the whiff punish on the towards roundhouse there from Shine. And I mean, Metro M, I think what Metro needs to do is continue to do what he's doing right here, which is to really live in this pocket and not really try to overextend.
Yeah, Spear reversal's out, but it's mid-screen. Very easy to chase down as the Cody. Does get the sequence into the activation, gets the forward throw, and just keeps trying to shank him. Very active, these knives. Gets the stun, and easy round. Wait, oh. That's BM.
Wow.
That's
Was it BM or was it, I mean, he threw the knife away to pull out the other one and then just decided this one wasn't good. That was some 12 Angry Men type energy. There's layers to that joke. Nobody think about it too hard. There's the EX Zonk finding hella plus frames. Metro M overextending in a way that he should not. Oh, the off the wall getting hit.
I'm sorry, man. I missed your joke. I was too busy thinking about the prison wallet from Deadpool 2. Because I'm trying to wonder where Cody keeps his knives. But back to the corner we go. Not a lot of HP bar, but it's not a 7 golden letters, Brad. It's just a little bit less.
Right, well, Shine up 2 games, and that second game, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen this, right? Where the first game's looking a little bit back and forth, and then by that second game, it's been like, oh, okay. They're kind of figured out. Shine is looking comfortable right now. And hey, what was it you wanted? You wanted Shine Brian F, right? That was specifically what you wanted to see. You're 1 game away.
Round 1. Fight.
Yes, I am. The bracket on my side's not updating, so I get a little lost because, as everybody knows, I don't know how to read brackets. It's very confusing to me. I didn't go to school for that.
That's why I'm explaining it out loud. I want to make it so that you don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to think too hard. That's good.
Yeah. He said, oh no, the command grab was just too early. Shine
he
with
definitely
the VT
said,
activation.
oh no, out loud. You get to crush though, Brad. That's the consolation prize, right?
Oh god. So much damage here from Shine. Now he has the life lead, and he still has more knife. Are you dead? You're actually dead. That round was Metro's until it wasn't. And this is VT1. This isn't the pipe. You're not dealing with like command grab nonsense and Twitter highlight reels of set play sequences from Cody. This is just simple RPS and Shine having a good read on Metro's defensive tendencies.
Also helps that it's, again, active forever. So even if you hit a button by mistake, you can largely capitalize on it. But no, I mean, you are right in the read that Shine just is really good at rock, paper, scissors. It's definitely showing here. Has to be a world champion in that. And what is this? He's just guessing right every single time. Even when he guesses wrong, he's right. Is that 3-0? 2 in a row. Both Shine and Brian F coming out absolute lightning cocked. And they're meeting in our next matchup.
Yeah.
Not our next matchup, because we got to go upstairs first.
Yeah, no, it's their next matchup, certainly. So we have our top 4 now. Big ups to OG Yawn, Destructive, Metro M, and Flux Waves, who are out at 7th and 5th in some particular order. I won't say respectively, but the point is, we have the winners finals of Rob TV and NYC Furby, Young Art himself, and now the loser semis of Brian F and Shine, which is just the winner side of top 8, split now between winners and losers.
Sorry,
I
I
feel like
dropped the bottle cap.
it's not often that you look at your winner side of your top 8 and then that also ends up your top 4 in some split capacity. So a real testament to the strength of all of these
Welcome.
players that it's like, no, there's a reason we're up here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, in a way, you probably could have guessed that that would be our top 4 looking at round 1. But that would be like kind of Giga Brain. But I mean, would it really be Giga Brain to say that your top 4 is Brian F, Shine, Rob TV, and Furby? Looking at the bracket, no shade to any of the other players in our tournament tonight. I don't want to be shading anybody, but when you look at the consistency of their placements here at Casa, all individually of those top 4, I mean, Brian, the one time he was here before, got top 3, I think. Arts won it. Rob, I think, also got top 3, and Shine has won. So, just statistically, I know you're not good at stats, Brad, but I would probably have put money on this being top 4.
Sure, but like you're now discounting. I mean, there's a bunch of people to give credit, but I'm just going to specifically call out Flux Waves. Is like, it's hard for me to look at a bracket and see Flux Waves and not be like, yeah, sure, Flux Waves will be in top 4.
That's fair. I will concede that point because Flux Waves has definitely played out of his gourd in some of our tournaments and placed higher than we
Yeah.
generally would have expected him to. But he's a
it
god.
does-
It's just a multi-character god.
It does seem, though, like Flux Waves has not had the same degree of success since the patch dropped. That's how I feel. I'm not going to say that I have looked over the data to verify this, but
Who
I
needs
definitely
data?
well, I mean, it's all right there. We could look back over the Casa brackets. There's been a whole bunch of the top 8s, right? Like, we're still seeing Flux Waves in these top 8s, but, top 3, top 2 was a given. And I don't know if
True.
it's that, everyone else is leveled up, or, obviously Poison got some nerfs. Some of the characters that Flux Waves has played has been changed around. Is it the balance? Is it other people
Or
leveling up? Is it new people that weren't entering as often that are now here more often? You kind of find yourself wondering what has changed in that when it was so stable that Flux Waves is such a sure thing for top 3 for so long. But here we are, 2 people guaranteed in the top 3, as it were, as we jump up into the winners finals. Rob TV versus NYC Furby.
Already, Art is putting on a bit of a clinic here. Art gets Rob down to a third of his HP before even getting hit. But now back to the wall, has to fight his way out, and turns out Breathing Fire is a good defense.
Who knew, right?
Man, I wish I could
Ooh,
Breathe
nice
Fire.
counter hit from
It'd
Art.
make cooking pancakes so much easier.
Why is that the specific thing you think of if you could breathe fire?
I had pancakes for dinner yesterday. I don't know. Brad, Breathing Fire is sick. What my usage of it is pointless. Like, what are you gonna do? Rob a bank? Like, whatever. You know.
Why is that the second thing you go to, Doc? Damn. Art with the first
Listen.
round. There was no
Some of us
robbery
need to
in that
cash,
round.
man.
Just some zoning.
Oh man. Oh, using the bar to stay airborne, and they just kind of trade normals in the air quite nicely. But in the end, it's Art coming out ahead. Damn, Brad beat me to his own command in Twitch chat. Shit.
You know it.
It's okay. I got his face on behind a paywall, so we're a good chat.
I wasn't ready for
Oh,
that.
that's a lot of gray life up on the screen. It's quickly coming back, though. Not too much to worry about. Never mind. All gone. Chalked. But look at this. It's one hit away, pretty much on either side. DP's
Ooh, that
out.
DP was so smart.
But the sweep, activate, overhead, true combo.
Final round.
1 round apiece. First game of the winners finals. Nice hit confirm once again from Rob. The hit confirms from Rob have been on point so far all night. Which is, I mean, I feel like it's one of the strengths of Karen, right? If you are a player who can bring out that hit confirm ability, it opens her game up so much.
Yeah, I'm also liking how free Rob has been with his DP button as well. It was a bit, safe on it in the earlier round, but heading up against Art, definitely not afraid to let loose. And so far, it's gotten him quite far. And even that was sick. Like, just goes under the air sniper, gets the hit, can't quite close out. So it's Art that gets game one.
Yeah, and Art swung there. I mean, Rob is going for these, you know, extended shimmy sequences that you so traditionally see with Karen. But Art, you know, a student of not just this game, but many a game, is already willing to hit some of these beefy buttons in these situations and be like, nah, look, you have to earn that. You don't get to just open this stuff up with me. You better hit me with your layer 1 or I'm not going to respect it.
It's like a 3 bean casserole. Wait.
Well, if you don't put layer 1, that's just 2 beans.
Man, I hate it when it's just 2 beans. But already, off to a great start here. Lots of Gray Life building up on Furby. Not an obscene amount, but definitely enough to become impactful later on. But the forward throw gets him a little bit of distance. And I'm super curious as we get the crush counter bread. You know, we're not seeing super in-tight Furby. We're getting zoner Furby. Did I say Kirby?
No, you said Furby. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, he's not staying in for too long, partly because of the fear of DP and partly just because of how quickly Karen can, you know, turn stuff around and how sticky she is as a character. If you don't have to deal with all of that stuff, why bother with it? Her movement speed is so good, she'll stick to you so well. Blocking after that stand short is so scary. Look at that micro delay into the stand fierce. Oh my god, the whiff punishment though?
Listen, you can't be leaving your leg out that long. You're going to get stepped on.
You have to let it linger. He's such a fool for you.
Nope, I got nothing for you, Brad.
No, where's Tom?
Your reference game tonight, not relatable. Very niche.
Gonna tell me you don't know the Cranberries, man? Art sitting on full CA here. That's, I mean, at what point are we gonna see like exactly that? TK Gale as a defensive option. Rob,
I think we're starting to see
cashing
some
out
of
a
these.
whole lot of meter.
I think these sim nerfs are actually becoming really into play here because, you know, as we all know, when he gets hit out of float, it's a jiggle state now. And so, you know, he's getting hit out of float a lot by, you know, Rob's play. So it's causing a lot of different problems. He's getting some nice sequences out of it, some nice knockdown pressure out of it. Raw V-shift was not the play, it would seem.
That's that was a strange one. And like fishing with the slides, you know, I was assuming that we were going to be seeing slide into carpet, force a V-reversal from Rob if he had one, and then, you know, kind of get the point to force the respect for, you know, sniper versus a low for game off the gray line. But it's ultimately not what happened.
No, coulda, woulda, shoulda, as we do get some more aggression coming in from Art, which I think is traditionally his more successful style. You know, we have seen, obviously, defensive Art, but I think offensive Art, just like in the real world, is a little bit more effective to people's power.
Yeah, I mean, this is working out great so far here for Art. Oh, but this is, I mean, historically, it seems like once Rob does get in, the slide, it is not a subtle shift back into Rob's favor. And it's one of these atrocious matchups, right? I talk about this all the time. You need to, however much life you lose on the way in, you need to make sure that you pay it out on the way back. Did not pay off that time for Rob. Art taking the round.
Yeah, definitely collect your interest payments too, folks. But I really liked that sequence because Art, you know, obviously got the knockdown, set up the fireball to try and get some additional pressure on, and read that Rob's answer to the fireball was going to be the EX dash forward to get through it, to get through the pressure, and Art just slid, gets the punish, gets the hit, got the round, and is looking a little okay here in the next round, but that crush hurts a lot.
Oh, there's the EX Gale. Oh, there's no way. Oh, wow. Okay, that was a counter hit. It caught him doing something.
Sim is dead. No,
Nope.
never mind. Barely.
You cursed him.
Oh, I cursed Rob, I guess, because that's Gray Life's adding up. Is getting him in, stays same side, keeps it alive a little bit longer, but it's the undergo that gets him. It's looking like a Nosuke.
All right.
I don't know if
Two
you'll get that
games.
reference.
I definitely didn't. 2-1, Sabin up over Rob.
There's a Demon Slayer reference, Brad.
I have not watched that. I watched one
Right, you
episode
said
and
you didn't
determined
like
it wasn't
it.
for me.
Right, you said you were not a fan. I apologize. But chat might have gotten it. I don't know. I could have also said his name wrong. I'm not really good at pronunciations. But Rob definitely pronouncing himself here in the round. Lots of damage down.
Right, we're seeing Art trying to live in that mid-range, but here it is, right? Like, once Rob gets that offense started and gets into that sort of range 0, range 1, where Karen can really play that game, really abuse that low strong and the low forward. You use the low forward much less in this matchup, I imagine, because, you know, Sim isn't exactly going to be walking back with that walk speed.
No. He's quite abysmal. Turns out loose limbs do make for sinking ships, but even with all that gray life, 2 sequences is all it takes for Rob to bring it right back. And looking to tie it up in game score once again because he's falling quite quickly to Art. Another crush. It's so big.
All right. Art, look at these wide gaps that Art is leaving in his block string pressure. Really trying to identify exactly how much room Rob is going to give him in his own aggressive sequences. There's the V reversal from Rob. This is a fair amount of gray life here on the side of Art.
Thankfully, he's able to use the carpet to get some space, get a little bit of a back, even blocks the V reversal. But again, we're seeing Rob break out again, loses all that gray life to an errant hit. That's a bit sus, but able to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that DP was smart in the sense that with the amount of gray life you have, you know that you want to really ensure that the offense is stymied, but it's just, you can only do so much. One round apiece. Art on set point now.
No crush on that air attack, though. So just brings me to the corner a little bit. And I really like that Rob bet a lot on that sweep last round, right? If that connects, he has a lot of different sequences you can go into after that to potentially tie it back up. But Art was ready for it, got the block. That's a sick...
Oh my god, next hit is stun. Okay, using the V reversal to get the stun down. Okay, trading back with the V shift now. Oh, you're actually dead.
That was sick. That was so sick.
Yo, young man Art.
He's so young, he doesn't even need to whiff punish.
Wow.
He's all truthful,
So,
that guy.
yeah, so Art moving on to Grands in the winner's side. Rob TV drops down to play the winner of Shine and Brian F. So the possibility of a run back, Rob obviously having sent Brian F down to losers and winners top 8 in a 3-2 set. But Shine versus Brian F. Now, you specifically wanted to see this run back.
I mean, I'm a drama monger. That's, you know, I don't like being involved in drama, but witnessing other people's drama and witnessing drama around me fills me with a lot of joy. You know, totally Marie Kondo. It fills me with joy. I love to see it. And we get the run back. You know, maybe we'll get some more accidents that we can take to the Twitter sphere. And then it's just fun to watch, right? Like, I'm not involved. I'm a bystander, a spectator, if you will, Brad. And it's just fun for me.
Yeah, they are both already in the lobby. Now, I do not, off the top of my head, it was who was Shine playing when they played at NLBC this past week? I feel like I should remember that, but unfortunately, all I remember is the missed input heard around the world.
Jury.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I wouldn't, but it was very late for us on the East Coast, Brad. I don't know if anybody in the chat cares, but it was like midnight for us, and I'm old. I know you're old, but I'm also old.
Well, you can't just be airing my dirty laundry like that. You can't. Why not just cut my arm and let everybody count the rings in the background? Let everybody know exactly how old I am. Who is Shine? Shine opting in with the Cody. Brian going with the Balrog, the Boxer, which is obviously what we had all seen. You've all seen the clips on Twitter. We have alluded to it all night.
And it
Okay,
is
the
gonna be
V-Skill
skill
Thor.
2, trigger 2. So definitely going for some plus frames in tonight's matchup, but already first blood went to Brian. He's just keeping pressure going too, all the way in the corner, already forcing Shine to break his way out. But he's, again, Brian, playing at these ranges where he can't exactly get hit. He can punish any errant forwardness with a rush punch.
All right, corner pressure now here for Brian. How much respect from Shine? Are we going to see? Oh my god, that neutral jump was super smart, but didn't necessarily find the chance to punish the whiff towards Roundhouse, and now Shine with the VT activation.
Already, we've seen Brian use more V-trigger bar than in any of his earlier matches. So he is going to be able to cash out there, get the round win with the EX rush punch, the second one in the sequence there, and just everything working out that time. The shirt's off, Brad.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the story will emerge of how Brian chooses to use or not use the V-Trigger 2.
I mean, it could just be, you know, he's just chilling for tonight. But I don't think the Tornadoes really are going to do a whole lot here. I think it's going to be pretty casual for Brian to just hold down back and relax, wait for the rush punch opportunities. He's getting these charges, which gives him so much power on hit, and there's no shot that Cody can punish him for it. At best, you get an EX Zonk into block at that point, and at that point, you still need to run offense, though. You can't just EX Zonk into block and be like, I did my job, coach. There's another step afterwards.
Right, really just taking this knife offense right now, but like there's no reason to kind of overextend. Ooh,
Oh, no,
speaking
the
of
spacing.
overextend, Shine with the whiff punish, or the whiff, rather, Brian with the punish.
Yeah, the spacing was probably like 1 frame short, in all honesty, but breaks the knife on Balrog's big head of his. But EX Zonk, back to the corner we go.
Ooh.
Gets the chase on the V-shift, but doesn't follow it up.
All right, Shine needs to make something happen here. About 15 seconds left on the clock, and Brian using the V-Trigger specifically defensively to slow the match down. Now, okay, about 8 seconds left, and oh my god, even if that rush punch was on block, Brian was just gonna do a safe block string and then back off. By the time the safe block string was done, about 5 seconds, not strictly speaking enough time for a no-meter Shine to do anything in terms of a comeback. At that point, after that rush punch, it was checkmate for Brian.
Round 1.
So, game 1 goes to Brian F. NLBC champion, the one and only. You've seen it here first, folks. But I feel like Shine tonight, at least, he's been adapting quite well after the first game. Brian definitely adjusted after game 1 in his earlier set in top winners, which we're not in any longer. But I don't know. Who would you think adapted better, Brad?
In Brian's winner set, I mean, I'd have to say Rob, given that he won the set. That's going to have to be my evaluation.
Well, I was comparing Brian with Shine in how they each have had to adapt tonight. But yeah, we can flame Brian a little bit.
I mean, it's not about flaming Brian. It was just there was a leap in logic there that I didn't follow you along on the jump for. Okay, EX Zonk now from Shine, and Shine, oh my god, is that the first time that Shine has been able to try to start some offense in the corner? Try did not succeed, got what he want but not what he need, which is full screen corner carry. Brian right back in the driver's seat. Lights certainly guided him home.
Shine's been pretty respectful in the corner, actually. With the knife now, he has the license to be a bit less respectful, as you know, knives do hurt after all. Gets the throw into the EX Tornado, but Brian just jumps over it. But the last time we saw Shine have the corner opportunity was when we saw that whiffed knife normal that got heavily punished.
Uh-huh. No, you're right, you're right.
Chases down the EX Tornado with a forward throw. I do like the V reversal on the EX song. It is Shine's main way of getting pressure right now. And if you just reversal that EX zonk, it resets the neutral. You've cost Shine a bar, and he now has no other way to get in on you.
Forgive me, my cat is knocking stuff over on my desk. She's getting hyped for Brian up 2 games over Shine right now. No dropped inputs, no kind of weirdness, just clean play and a dominant control of the neutral and the mid-range game here, and just really smothering Shine.
Yeah, Shine just really hasn't had an opportunity to, for lack of a better word, shine. He's been getting some sequences, like this one in particular has been pretty nice, but again, on demand. EX Zonk Muscle, the reversal. It just denies all of that forward pressure. And it's up to Shine to then re-aggress, and Brian's ready for it.
And this is one of the things, right? Like, I mean, we've not really seen Brian using the V-Trigger, but one of the things that's I really liked about the V-Skill 2 VT1 that we're seeing used similarly here with the V-Skill 2 VT2 is Boxer doesn't always need the V-Triggers in some of these matchups where he's not going to be needing to make these explosive swings back in his favor, which means that the strength of the V-Skill 2 ends up, you know, giving you a ton of damage, building you a ton of V-Gauge, which you can then use to keep the game going in your favor.
Yeah, I also think that the Trigger 2 versus Trigger 1, very different in terms of what they actually do for you, obviously. But like, I don't think you need the Trigger 2, you know, as explosively as like Trigger 1. And so, you know, since that is the option that Brian's been running, there's literally no downside to just V-reversing. Like, you lose out on the command grab potential, but like, who cares? You're winning in neutral. You don't need a command grab to make you neutral scarier. You're just straight winning.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point too. Like, you absolutely don't need the tool that's offering, so you can just use the other things that is afforded to it. Shine has found some signs of life here. That's one more touch for stun. Oh no, the overhead gets blocked. And this is the type of thing that has been huge for Brian so far. Once it swings out of Shine's favor, it's been swinging largely out of Shine's favor.
Definitely looked like he didn't expect that full crush counter, though, because you saw him dash through the screen, but gets a little bit of hit V-shift, trying to break the pressure, but it doesn't get you out of dodge. And now just pushing buttons, each player trying to get a little bit more rush punch forward for the damage.
Yeah, no V-skill store right now for Brian, but Brian has a super slight life lead. But it's
also
one
has
touch
super.
off of, yeah, and that's gonna do it. A 3-0 for Brian over Shine.
Bunches in shambles, but that's okay.
Balrog wins.
It means we do get Brian versus Rob TV, which should be fun.
The run back, and that winner side set was probably the closest set that we have had so far in the top 8. 3-2 last round. So definitely going to be an interesting losers finals. Big ups to Shine. Obviously no slouch. Out at 4. And like we've said a couple of times, Shine is, you know, at least a 2-time Casa champion. I think 3 now, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely won their fair share of these matchups, as well as, you know, however many, you know, fantastic NLBC showings and what have you. Definitely has already kind of put their name on the map, you know?
So, Brad, I have a bit of a problem here.
Do tell.
So, we talked about Rob TV versus Shine. 3-2, last game, final round. Banger. Absolute banger. Since that time, we had some 3-1s, but we have also had 1, count them, 2, 3, 4 3-0s in a row. Actually, Brian F. versus Shine makes 5. So, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 3-0s in a row now.
That is certainly true, and you don't even need to, I don't need to check your work because that's not reading a bracket, that's just looking at numbers.
Yeah, I'm counting. And I was able to do it on one hand even. It took me 2 tries, but I did it on one hand.
Okay, but so far you've stated a fact, not a problem.
Oh, well, that's just not enough Street Fighter for me, Brad. I wanted more Street Fighter.
Oh, well, if that's what you want, you're going to have to hope that Brian and Rob bring us another tight 3-2, and that whoever goes on to play Art in the grand finals feels like dragging this out for you so that you can appreciate all of the Street Fighter on display here. And if y'all want to appreciate all of the Street Fighter that Casa has on display for you every week, please make sure that you follow Casa on Twitter to be up to date to everything that we're doing, and follow Dom SOS here on Twitch. He is the one that is streaming Street Fighter for us every week, as well as whatever else he elects to stream through the course of the week. And if Street Fighter is not your only bag, we also bring you Street Fighter 4 and Guilty Gear Plus R, and we're planning on bringing you guys some Strive when that drops as well. So if y'all want a little bit more variety, which as we all know is the spice of life, then make sure you are following Casa on Twitter so you know everything that we're bringing you guys.
Also, if you do the exclamation point Matcherino code in chat, sadly enough, I will say we have used all of the codes already, thanks to you beautiful bastards in the chat. Thank you for typing in, copying, and pasting that code so many times that Matcherino ran out of codes to give us. So A, hit up Matcherino and tell them to give us more codes because you guys are animals. And B, use those sponsor quests, buy some merchandise, what have you, and get the pot to explode. We're currently at $126.99 for the players here tonight. That is all for them. All of the players have earned it here tonight because they have absolutely done the due diligence, put in the work, won their matchups, and we're heading into our top 3 matchup between Rob TV and Brian F.
I'm just shook on that we ended up at 126.99. That does not sound like the prize pool associated with the Matcherino. That sounds like the type of thing that you see on like an infomercial at late night for what the cost is. It is 126.99, but today you can have it for 3 easy payments of 25.99.
Fight.
You
Rob
can
TV.
also buy us here at Casa for 7 easy payments of $126.99. Fun fact.
Rob TV straight in the driver's seat. I feel like Rob got to be the aggressor for a fair bit of their matchup in the winner's side. Rob's just control in the neutral was so good.
Yeah, Rob's neutral has been absolutely lights out tonight. He's been on point 90% of the time. You know, unfortunately, he did fall to Art, but largely he had a great read on Brian and gets a read once again, gets the overhead. Brian's spacing tonight has been pretty on point, though, and that's where I think he might have a slight edge. If you can just play around these buttons of Kareem just a little bit stronger, a little bit stealthier, and able to get the punishes on them, he might have a chance, but Rob is not looking to give him that chance. He's looking to speed run this loser's finals and claim that grand final spot.
Yeah, has a video to make or something, wants to get to it, wants to finish out.
Bro, those
this
things take
bracket.
time. Do you know how hard it is to edit? Shit.
I do. I make my own reels. That shit's time consuming. Oh my god, the standing median kick challenging this forward movement. There's the activation from Brian, but it's not going to matter. There's the backdash. What did I say earlier? Listen to the Saint of Cola, the man of the name brands. Do not do the command grab when you're about to die. It is the most punishable choice that you have. And
To be fair, to be fair, Brad, Rob was actually literally tweeting about this like an hour before we went live. About full jump-in punishes on whiffed command grabs. So he's definitely had his eye on that option tonight.
Yeah, so another thing I want to point out is, you know, I feel like the matches we've seen in the top 8 that Brian has won, he's managed to really utilize the V-Skill 2 to the fullest extent that he's able to. Getting a lot of the stores and cycling back into the stores as he gets them into either block string pressure that ultimately hits or, you know, on an EX into a follow-up that he V-Skill scores off of. Rob is doing a great job of using both the great range and the great walk speed of Karen to keep Brian from getting these initial stores for free.
Also, if you just keep him back to the wall in the corner, there's no shot that he's going to be able to charge up in your face because you have that much less space to travel, that much less time needed to punish. But now that we're back full screen, we get the activation. We're sliding across the screen. Block punish, not going to happen. Well, CA was available, but went for a little bit of cash.
Yeah, I think it was a call, rather than trying to cash out, like maybe if you cash out you win, but you figure you can spend 1 or 2 bars and then an advantageous situation to win after the fact and save yourself a little bit of bar. And now look at this. The round is just starting and Rob already has CA. Finding that V-Skill store that I just talked about how difficult it was for Brian to get it, though. Does Brian now get the V-Skill store? Are we going to see it again? No, wants to stay aggressive in the driver's seat with the dash and throw. Big crush counter, that's going to be the stun. There's the V-Skill store, and you're going to die.
Yeah, I do like the choice there to keep the pressure going instead of going for that skill charge, because as we saw, if you keep the pressure going and it works, you get the stun, you get the charge anyway, and you then just get the character kill. For this time, though, that what Kareem does. The punish on the skill charge means not only do they not have that charge anymore, but you dealt damage. That's the point of the game, is killing your opponent, dealing the most damage possible.
Oh, wow. No hit confirm on the low forward. Rob literally didn't miss any of them on the winner side.
Nope. It's that loser side difference, but both players have been at this for quite a while. Huge crush counter in from Brian, but it's not capitalized on. That hit. That's
Feels
unfortunate.
bad, man. Brian's still alive, though. Oh, you really tried to get away with that?
Disrespectful.
Rob has spent now 2 straight games ensuring that you do not get away with these V-skill stores. There are no free frames, my guy. Karen, how do you think Karen got her money? She monopolized the frame industry.
Is that canon? She's just a window.
It
frame
is now.
salesperson?
It is now. She controls the frame kill mines.
I thought she was old money. Apparently, I was wrong. It's all about the frames.
I mean, the first Street Fighter came out in like 88 or some stuff like that, right? Like, does that qualify as old money?
I'm Googling.
87,
Damn.
cool.
Dom was literally there before Brad finished his sentence to correct this, man. I was about to Google it, and Dom said, "Nah. I got you. 87, bitch." And I was like, "Damn, he was ready."
Yeah, he has it tattooed on his forearm. He's like, never forget 87.
He was born in 96, but don't matter.
Hold up, Dom was born in 96?
No,
You were born in 88. Okay. I was like, don't just make some stuff up.
I was making stuff up because it was better for the joke, Brad. That's what comedians do. They don't actually live the stories they tell 9 times out of 10.
Fight.
Are you telling me that Jerry Seinfeld lied to me?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh my god. All right, Rob is up 2-0.
2-0, and looking to make quick work of the third game as well. Already a life lead, already has trigger available, and is taking that pressure back.
Right. Universal stuck in the corner now. I mean, there's so much damage with all that gray life on deck. If Rob is able to just find the right hit, really kept burning these universals. I mean, it slows the game down, but also if any of them hit, you get some more gray life back on the board. At this point, it's been slow for long enough that Brian has largely gotten that life back. So we are looking at about even life here.
It's also not a thing that Kareem needs, is the trigger. Can very easily just V-reversal the entire game away. But just one confirm into CA is definitely enough to close out at that point. So Rob puts himself on set point.
So I know you specifically wanted to see more Street Fighter, but I don't think Rob does.
No, Rob's trying to get that money. He's just trying to go home, cash out, get himself a nice Uber Eats meal.
Okay, checking.
And
the
I know
dash
chat's
forward.
flaming me about the whole Seinfeld thing. I obviously know who Seinfeld is. I've just never seen the show. But if you want to hear some real toxic stuff, I've never seen Friends. So take that, chat.
All right.
And it's definitely more age appropriate for me too.
We are airing some laundry right now, but in the interim, Brian is fighting for his life out of this corner. The Rekka finding the hit, but nothing quite after the fact. Rob can absolutely make this happen. That's going to be CA, I think.
Wow,
No, with this
he
amount of life, with the
scooped
Karen
that off the
privilege.
floor.
Welcome.
Oh, still alive.
but man, he got scooped.
This is set point. Anything will do it. A stand short. Look at the man's hitting some stand short, but this is Boxer, right? You need to be afraid. Went for the overhead, and it did not pay off. Brian extends his tournament life at the very least another round.
No, I didn't say Friends was funny. I said I've literally never seen Friends. Chat, get it together. But no, I'm actually kind of surprised that that's how that round ended up going, Brad, because I was fully expecting Brian to go for the chip kill. He had the meter, he had the rush punch available. He very easily could have gone for it, but he ended up using the EX rush punch to try and catch Rob slipping. And then Rob gave him the overhead, which has been a pretty consistent way for Rob to close out these rounds. But gets blocked, gets punished, gives him the round win. Still set point for Rob, dead even on life, and it is no longer.
Yeah, Brian went to try to cheat out that store again, and I'm curious to look back over this set, which
Damn, that
Rob
was
has
enough?
now won 3-0, the last hit of the DP, and I want to look back over the set and see how many times Brian tried to get away with a V-skill store in a spot where it was not guaranteed and got blown up for it. I have to imagine he got away with one, maybe two, through the span of this entire match, but Brian does not get the 2-4 this week, instead out at third place for this Casa Week 54. And our grand finals will be a winners finals run back, Rob TV versus NYC Furby. Furby waiting in the winner's side, having sent Rob down in a 3-0. And it is 3-0s all night. Outside of, you know, the winner's side of top 8 pre-winners finals. And I mean, Yawn versus Destructive, but since then, all 3-0s.
So if we take my previous number of 5, add 1, we're at 6 3-0s in a row now. I needed 2 hands for that, Brad.
Oh wow, we got to the point. You're not one of those people that has an additional finger.
Oh God, no. Although, would that make it better? Well, I suppose it would depend. I was gonna say, would it make it better or worse for playing fighting games? But I guess it would depend on what hand you had the extra finger on, right? Especially
I mean,
since I'm a hitbox player.
I disagree. I think if you have an extra digit on either finger, you just buy a cross up.
True.
And
Although
then
I still
whichever
think
hand
that's
it's on, you
still
make it work.
better. It's still better to have it on your right hand though, because that's where all the extra buttons are. You still just have the stick for your left hand.
Oh damn. Okay, I'm gonna nerd out for a second. Q is in the next season of Picard. That's hella interesting. Wasn't the finale of Next Generation the whole thing that the whole show was just one long test from the Q continuum from the first episode? So like I haven't watched Picard, but like how does that then fit into everything? I guess that's a me and JR Scribe conversation now as we wait for Art to get into the lobby. And while we wait for that, once again, you can still show some love to the Matcherino. The coupon codes are not there, but if you want to do sponsor quests or if you're feeling blessed with cash and you feel like throwing it the way of our players, we will obviously appreciate any of you who elect to do so. The prize pot right now is sitting at $126.99. Thanks everybody who has already contributed.
Let's do this.
And if you
So I
don't
called you a
already-
nerd, but I
yeah,
think
go
my
for it.
microphone was muted.
Oh no, that's fine. You know, the statement that I said called me a nerd louder than anyone can say it with their own mouths.
I said it pretty damn loud, actually. But, you know, why don't you just tell you what, Brad? Roll a d20 for initiative, and we'll find out if it was actually loud enough for you to hear.
My gut reaction was, why would my initiative have anything to do with whether I hear a thing? What you want for me to do is roll perception.
Well, no, because what if you were like half deaf and you had one of those giant hearing horns, and so your initiative was to actually use the hearing horn to listen?
I think you've gone beyond me now. We are
I've
loading
never
in.
played.
So you're
Where's
just
Thomas
saying
Winkley?
things.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm saying buzzwords. It's how people get those 6-figure salaries, right? They just say a bunch of buzzwords and then they get handed money.
Oh, you've listened to me do my job then.
Round one.
Speaking of jobs, we're gonna have to see if Rob can live the content creator life and actually make this comeback happen. It was 3-0 the last time. Art definitely coming out strong, but we've had a costume swap and now Rob's feeling fresh.
I mean, sometimes you got to put on your Sunday best, and that's how you make sure that this is going to go your way.
Is that Karen's Sunday best? We're gonna have to get a bunch in here to confirm, because I think he might disagree. But for now, HP lead definitely favoring the Ferbster, but that crush counter definitely hurt.
That was quite the read there, expecting the in-place teleport once again, ready for the follow-up after the fact. The slight life lead here for Rob. There's the slide activate. I didn't say color, we're talking about her costume bunch. Look at all that gray life. I think you actually die on the right hit. Okay, no, the gray life is now coming back. Nah, it doesn't matter.
Technically, if we're talking about costumes, color is a part of it, right? Like everybody has their favorite shirt in probably a couple colors, but even then, they have a favorite color.
managed to beat the anti-air. Oh my god, the dive kick working out. Art trying to speed run this, wants to get back, wants to go. I don't know what his plans for the evening are, but apparently they include speed running Rob, going for the any percent.
That's definitely a content video. I any presented after Friday for the 7th time in a row as we get the V break out. But he's still burning. He's still melting away like a candy bar in the hot sun. What is this gray life? It's everywhere. It's gone on Art.
That jump in was huge, but this is still, once again, the right hit, exactly like that. I have to guess that was supposed to be TK Gale, and it just didn't happen that way, but it worked out anyway.
He just totally caught Rob over-aggressing there, and regardless of what it was supposed to be, it happened, it worked, and Art is able to win another round. Dhalsim players are in shambles.
Fight.
All the Dhalsim players right now in the Discord, all 7 of them are like, yo, Art, stop winning. Capcom's gonna nerf us again.
They're gonna give all float count or crush counter property. That's what I was trying to say. Instead of just counter hit, everything crushes in the air. But V-Shift still a pretty good usage from Art. We've seen him use it quite a number of times tonight. And I'm trying to think of when it wasn't successful, and I'm drawing a blank. But once again, sweep not working for Rob.
I mean, it's so much of this matchup, both in winner's side and now, has been Art masterfully using float and Rob struggling to find the right tool to navigate around and through float to really get the offense started and pin Art down long enough to run his game.
Once again, just raw EX fire. That was the fireball that time, but it worked out. Another round to Furby, who is looking like he has all the answers. He's got the teacher's edition of the test. He's just filling in the circles as they come up. Man, I'm falling apart, Brad. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, just when Art submits the any percent speedrun video example to GDQ, he'll just have to not put you on the list for commentators.
Bro, I'm claiming that shit. Like, full on, you're getting a check mark from YouTube. I'm claiming it.
All right, V-shift back from Rob. I'm actually intrigued that triggered the slowdown. It didn't look like it quite hit. Ooh, the EX upper, but Art still in the life lead here. Wow, hitting some buttons defensively and a close but quick round for the second game now. Art up 2-0, winner's side of Grands. And Rob is going to have to find some drastic new energy to bring to this matchup if he wants to make this happen.
He's got to find the 7 Dragon Balls at this point. There is no other hope because Art is just sliding with abandon. Like, he's getting away with it completely unpunished. And that time it did like a fraction of a percentage of a health of damage, but he then just got the jab afterwards. So like, there's so many things that are going wrong here that are just falling into Furby's lap. And Rob is going to take the second. I don't think we're going to get a character swap, but I like taking a second, catch your breath. You've been playing in a ton of sets straight in a row now. You know, take a breather, reset a little bit mentally, try and come into this with a different game plan in mind.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think having the wherewithal to go back to the lobby and just take a slowdown, take a breather, and recenter yourself is huge, especially with so much of those last 2 rounds seemed like they were Rob just kind of grasping at straws a little bit, which is not what you want to see from anyone in the sim matchup, let alone players playing at this caliber. And maybe that in some capacity is just the matchup. Like maybe Karen kind of just needs to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks in order to get sim to sit down long enough to get blown up. But it's not worked so far. Sticking with the Karen, no big surprises here. Art up 2 games on the winner's side here over Rob TV to take Casa week 54.
Yeah, and if we look back to this last matchup, which wasn't winner's side, it was winners finals. Rob game 1 was very good at punishing the floats, punishing the air options of Furby, and got a lot of mileage out of it. He obviously didn't close out the game in the end because Art adapted to it. and he started playing a lot of mind games with the air options, with the floats, and everything that went along with it. And Rob, literally ever since round one, game one, has not been able to recover that style of gameplay. And Art has not been afraid to go to the skies at any point.
All right. Oh, wow. Okay. This is probably the best round that Rob has had so far.
So I'm gonna say, Brad, I saw prepubescent Art in chat, and I
Yeah, I
do
don't.
not
You don't need to
think
draw attention to it.
I do not think that is the type of message we need to be spreading here in the FGC. We can stick with young Art, just not old Art.
Ooh, a little late on the punish on the whiffed anti-air there from Art. We've seen that whole sequence had worked out really well. Okay, challenging the V-shift back, finds the hit, but is not able to follow up after the fact. Art stuck in the corner. How's he gonna elect to get out? Manages to get the teleport out of the float.
Yeah, it's
GG
just
from
raw
Rob.
teleport. Like Rob has not been punishing those whatsoever. And even when they're getting aggression, they're like a frame over aggressive on Rob's side, and Art has been ready to punish it every single time. Even closes out with the trigger activation.
All right, this is set Nate tournament point for NYC Furby.
Turnover point indeed, off to a strong start here. No punish on the slide. Once again, teleports back to safety. And so for right now, I'm curious what Rob adapts, because if he wins here, he takes it to a game four, looking pretty good at that point. He can start to adapt a little bit further. But the wall of punishment is there.
All right, but I mean, once again, now, and look at this. Art knows his scripture. Just holding some down back, willing to take the throw. There's the slide activate, and look at full CA on
dead.
deck. That's gonna do it.
Holy.
Art with a second clean sweep out of the winner's side of Grands is going to take Casa Week 54 over Rob TV.
The youngest of Arts claiming yet another victory here on Casa Friday nights. And, you know, Brad, in a roundabout way, this is still Bunch's night to brag. I know he's already slipped his way in here. I didn't even hear the Discord sound. But, I mean, yeah, Shine lost, but Art won.
All right, enough about you. New York won. We did it again. All we do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on our mind. We ain't ever giving up. And every time we step into the venue and we pay that $10, everybody just loses. So shout outs to Art again. It's cool that that kid from Ohio got pretty far, but whatever. The Wisconsin
Yo.
transplant got third, I guess. Shine, still growing his Cody. He's figuring it out. Played a little bit of Zeku. I have strong faith that he's gonna do great things later on in his career. Like always, I've been trying to tell you fools since 2014. But you don't have to listen to me. You could just see it when Shine wins again and Art maybe gets second. But good job to everybody. Shout outs to Dom. I'm sorry. Flashback. Shout outs to Dom SOS. Shout outs to the whole commentary gang. Doctor. Check out his new YouTube video. He speaks on Guilty Gear Strive. Check that shit out. Shout outs to Brad. I don't know really what Brad does. He doesn't really do anything except commentate. Shout outs to Monkey
True,
Business
true.
and who was the fourth person? Oh,
This is
Captain
literally
Zig.
your only
Captain
job.
Zig, shut up.
I mean, it's not his only job. He has a lot of hats on at the moment.
Like, shut
No,
up,
don't give him that.
Brad, shut your mouth. Your fucking pie hole for an instant. Shut it. Shout outs to Captain Zig. Thank you so much, homie, for stepping up. The Wonder Twins, like always. The crews that held down the other streams, Dink, iRedman, FreeJ, Shadow Ace, Liston, Fox, Sammy Fish, Raf TX, literally the Guilty Gear Plus R and Street Fighter 4 scenes. Thank you so much. Every match Reno hit over $100. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. 50 million times thank you. and hot sauce goes on salad. I don't care what you say, Tanachi, Dom. I don't care what you say. You don't know what you're
Wait,
talking about.
What?
And I think that's the end of everything.
that might have been the most controversial thing that's been
You're just
said
gonna
all night
put that
long.
out there and let that linger?
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We're gonna be on hiatus next week. So go check out the Guilty Gear Strive beta, and
Welcome.
we'll see you guys in what was it, 2 weekends? Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weekends. Bye.
All right, so
Yeah.
there were a lot of bombs there. I'm going to be fully honest with you. I learned that Bike Bunch is a psychopath. I learned that I'm unemployed next week. What about you, Brad? Any new knowledge?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is big ups to everybody that contributed to the Matcherino. In that last two sets, we managed to climb up to 170, 130. Big ups to Rotary Lover, Mr. Mustopheles. Art put in a $1 direct contribution. Fart Boner, thank you for letting me say your name on stream with the $25 direct contribution. There's a whole bunch of other people that contributed beforehand, but in the span of losers and grands, we jumped up nearly $50 in the Matcherino. So thanks everybody for showing love. That does go to the players. So I will tentatively speak on behalf of the players when I say thank you for putting that money in there. And yeah, other than that, I have nothing else to say other than for us to sign off and let Dom, step away from his computer for the first time tonight.
All right, let's get the hell out of here, Brad. Thank you, everybody in the chat, once again for tuning in with us. Without you guys, we would just be talking into the void. But be sure to follow at Cast a Bunch on Twitter to find out all of the new happenings when we go live, when we have content coming out, and we will definitely be able to let you know when our next tournament is. According to Bunch, it's in 2 weeks, so we will see you online next weekend for the Guilty Gear Strive beta, and then online the following weekend for Casa 55. See you and good night.
Be safe, everybody. Take care.